Good evening, everyone. Woo! And welcome back to the update. Day number 159. You're out of the studio a little bit, and then you forget to turn the monitors off. So here we are, and welcome to you. I'll be quite honest with you. I'm a little bit tired today. If you want to hear that in the Russian or Ukrainian, я очень устал сегодня. But we made it. I have picked the mother-in-law up, and I have made it back to the Palatial Studios here in Pennsylvania. So, yes, we are live. And I was live last night from the cabin. Why do I hear myself? I think, where am I? Do you hear me? Hey, can some... You know, when you've been on the road for 4 or 5 days and then you get back, you figure out something's goofy, but you don't know what the goofy is. So I think I just found it. No, I didn't. Anyway, everything, no echo on this end. That's all I need to do. Okay, thank you guys. Appreciate that. So we are good to go and we're ready to go. I think somewhere in my house, somebody is playing this stream, and I'm hearing it. So anyway, we're good to go, and thank you. Yes, 500 miles down today. Welcome to all of you, and we are good to go. So let me just say some hellos here. Jeffrey Burnett, as always, thank you for taking care of the moderation. Chuck Pinkham, always on here first. Well, some people have been racing to get first here lately, and that's great. Paul Kiss, Canadian, Pennsylvania. Lynn Harold, welcome to you guys. Roe Gammon, I was down there near you, not too far. Ricochet, welcome to you. JDO, Carol, out in California. Don Gentilini, Mr. Romania, Pat Shove, Nancy Adair out in Nevada. R. Dot. Is it R. Dot or R. Period? I love it. Jonathan Moore, welcome. Modesto, California, in the house. Larry Gorley, hope you had a good night tonight. And Pat Shove, Rita Berryman, everyone, welcome tonight. We are loaded. We're ready to go. I am tired tonight, but we were able to pull it together. So much going on. So I'm going to rely on you guys tonight. We've got Rick Berry dropping, we've got Rick Berry dropping the language as always. Slava Ukraina, Malus za Ukrainu. That means glory to Ukraine, praying for Ukraine. So there you have it. And, welcome to everyone. Going to be a good night. CZ, I will be checking your messages. I do have them. I'm now back. Tomorrow we'll get back on schedule. So, welcome to you guys, and going to be good. Let's start here tonight. We're going to start right here. First official ship leaves the port. The name of this ship today was the Razoni, and it left the port carrying 26,000 tons of corn en route to Lebanon. 16 more ships are scheduled to depart within days. So this is actually a good thing. We want to call the good, we want to call the bad, and we also will call the ugly. So this is a good thing. And some grain has left. We've got a Mexico sighting. Larry and Debbie driving back as well, Tennessee. Welcome to you guys. And listen, guys, I have to give the shout out here. That's my daughter from Mexico. She's down in Mexicali. So anyway, there it is. The ship has left. In fact, I have just a little clip. I'm not going to play it all, but this is the clip of the ship leaving, rolling out of Odessa today. So there you have it. There you have it. I feel like, you sure you guys don't hear an echo? Somebody just confirm that one more time for me. And this is live, and I rolled back into this studio just a few minutes ago. So something somewhere is on my end at least. But if you guys are good, I'm good. No echo. Wonderful. All right, so first grain is leaving. 16 more ships are scheduled en route to be getting out over the next few days. You guys know where we're going tonight. Now, I always like, much better. I always like to talk and update when we have more information. So, as you guys know, we have been growing. The stream is growing. Our giving is growing. Just an amazing job, a partnership between our local church, Bethel Life, here in Greenville, Pennsylvania. PK doing an amazing job with all the administration of that, as well as the broadcast, the updates, sharing the truth, biblical insights, everything we can look at to see what's going on. One of the things that we strive for is excellence in accuracy. And here's a couple of things. In fact, let me just tell you guys this. There was a convention down in Florida a few days ago, and one of the speakers there was from Ukraine. I know him personally. So I'm driving back today from Virginia, coming into Pennsylvania, and my phone rings, and I see it there, and it's a guy I know very well. He is a brilliant speaker. He's very, very well known, an author. He's an editor, a former editor of a magazine. He still writes for that magazine. If I was to call it, you would know it, all of that. But he called me, and we've been friends for years. He said, Greg, I have a question for you. I know you're on this every day. And he was asking me some questions about things that were happening in Russia and that were reported down there at the meetings in Florida in regard to the war in Ukraine. And he says, is this true or not? And I said, Lee, I don't think that's true. I'm trying to tell the truth. We know where we stand, but we want the truth to stand. And he was very appreciative, very thankful. And he says, okay, when you go to Ukraine, are you going to see that guy? I said, yeah, I'm going to see him. He lives in Kyiv. He goes, would you go by and tell him just to make sure he's telling the exact truth? I said, I certainly will. The point being, we want to do our best to share the truth. When I get something off, I expect you guys to message me. When you hear something that maybe you have a different perspective on, or you heard something different, you guys message me and I try to respond to them, and I appreciate it very much. So last night, I think we did a good job discussing Vladimir Putin's health. Now, we do not stream only on YouTube, but on Facebook, on Twitch, on Twitter, and on Reddit. There's lots of places this stream goes out. I do a majority of my chatting with the guys in YouTube because I can monitor it here, and this is also where the moderator can take care of things. But we have a huge community over on Reddit, and I had a wonderful reply about Putin's health. Wonderful reply. And I want to read it to you. And the guy that wrote it was appreciative that when we last night showed the video, what we said was, it's just something weird here. Wouldn't you use your left arm and not your right arm to swat the mosquito, or vice versa, and it looks still? Well, I want to update that. There was nothing wrong with how we shared it and what we said, but I got a wonderful message, and I want to give a shout out to Tattoo Matty. That's his name over on Reddit. And I'm going to read his message. I actually replied to him and told him I would be sharing it. This is his message about Putin's health. He said, hi there. I watch your show a lot, and thank you. With Putin's arm, I have Parkinson's disease myself. Generally, from stage 1, it ideally only affects a small portion of your body before it starts to progress. He said, now, when looking at that video, it's not the right side you should be looking at. It's the left and his fingers. And as anxiety increases, the conditions increase and worsen. As you can see in more videos, his fingers are always going nuts. And this is typically caused by Parkinson's. I don't know if he has Parkinson's, but it seemed to me that that's what it looked like. And you know what? I did hear and have read, and this would be before the war started, even up to a year ago, where many people were talking about that Vladimir Putin had the early, or was in the early stages of Parkinson's disease. Now we see the video, we get a good response from Tattoo Maddie, and I think that's a fairly accurate picture. Of course, we'll keep watching it and we'll see, but we want to be accurate. Now, we're going to get to the Ukraine stuff, but President Biden just a little while ago announced that al-Zawahiri has been eliminated over in Kabul. This would have been Osama bin Laden's number 2. He was killed by a drone in an apartment there in Kabul, Afghanistan. Why do I share this? This is the Ukraine update because here we go. There's just more boiling going on in the world. The title of the program tonight, of course, being We Are This Close to World War III. I'm not an alarmist, but this is very easy to see, not only in regard to Russia, Ukraine, but China and Taiwan and what is raging in the Middle East, Africa, and as well nations in Europe. Now, last thing before we jump into Ukraine, China and Taiwan. It's come out in the last 6 to 8 hours, and this is from multiple sources in Taiwan, multiple sources in China. Even John Kirby said out of the United States that Pelosi can go to Taiwan if she wants. China is saying that if you do this, you're crossing a red line. From all the sources we're seeing, it looks like tomorrow, which is now, we are 9:14 Eastern Standard Time here in the United States, 4:14 a.m. in Ukraine. But here's the deal. It's already tomorrow there in China and Taiwan, and what we're hearing and what we see, and we're staying on top of it because this is big, and this directly connects to Russia, Ukraine, as we've been talking about. China and Russia at the hip. I honestly believe that, especially with Silk Road and economy. It looks like Pelosi will be arriving sometime today, Taiwan time, and potentially speaking on Wednesday morning for the Taiwanese parliament. So we shall see. It may not happen, but we've been watching it for days. And follow SPAR 19. I've been following it. So we'll see. Just want to keep us updated. Now, why is this so important before we get into the Ukraine stuff specifically? Today, China was testing hypersonic missiles right on the coastline there. I showed some cousins of mine down in Virginia. I just didn't have all my horsepower there. China firing their MLRS systems, and they were really showing a force. So we shall see. She has put out big words, and I don't know what to say. I don't want to bash on anybody, but I'm concerned. We've backed some people in corners. We've now backed Taliban, Al-Qaeda into a corner by taking out al-Zawahiri. There will be response from that. There's no question. I don't know where, how, and when, but it will be. It's just going to turn the heat up. But China and Taiwan, she has put out some very bold statements. If Pelosi lands there in Taiwan with that delegation, we're going to see what kind of poker players, because that's what's happening. We're having a lot of talk, a lot of rhetoric, and are we having bluffs or are we having true threats? We shall see. Let's see here. Send Pelosi there, leave it there. We don't want her here. Rainwater. Barry, you were 100% correct, PG. When you see these things come to pass, look up Redemption's Drawing Nigh. Putin also announced today in the next several months that Russia is getting hypersonic nuclear weapons travel at speed of 7,000. They actually, CZ, already have them, hypersonic. What they're going to be doing is equipping them onto their naval vessels. That's the deal. They already have hypersonic, but they're going to be making them active on naval vehicles. And the reason for that is their Navy is nowhere near the level of America. It's not even close. But when you equip ships with those types of weapons, it does help even up the score a little bit. Now, here's something very interesting moving into Ukraine. And we're going to look at some maps tonight. I'm going to give you full updates over the next few minutes as to what's going on today. And this is from Reznikov, who is their defense minister. 4 additional HIMARS, because we watch this and many of you ask, have arrived in Ukraine. That is directly from Alexei Reznikov, and that's who we need to listen to. I'm grateful to President of the United States, Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, and the American people for strengthening of the Ukrainian army. We have proven to be smart operators of this weapon. The sound of the HIMARS volley has become a top hit of this summer at the front lines. Now, additional to that, today there came a report, multiple places, Ukrainian general staff and observers, on the amount of equipment that Russia has lost. Now, when you watch the news, when you watch mainline news, when you read stuff on the internet, you will see crazy things. You will see they've lost 20,000 pieces of equipment, 50,000 if you add everything up. They've lost 50,000 soldiers. They've lost 18,000 soldiers. They've lost 35,000 soldiers. Wait for the real numbers. Here are real numbers that we can give. The real numbers are, on a visual check, what that means is, with eyeballs, these pieces of equipment have been counted. You remember when Zhenya was traveling on the last trip out to the east, he even gave us some video right by Russian tanks. That's what we're talking about. These are counted with the eyeballs. Russia now visually confirmed to have lost 5,000 vehicles and other pieces of heavy equipment since it began its invasion of Ukraine on February 24th. You can then go to a site, you can get the full list, and it will break down what has physically been counted with the eyeball. It's not guesstimates, it's not guessing. JDO, I love it. Medic Trevor, nice to see you in here. So these are the real numbers, folks. Now, I have a question for you tonight. Why so slow on the push? Why does it seem that that line right there has not really moved much over the last few weeks and months? There are some reasons for that. Number one is equipment and supply lines. Ukraine is doing a good job, and we're going to look closely at the map in just a moment, but Ukraine is doing a good job on interrupting the supply lines and interrupting the logistical supplies. Next, exhaustion. Very poor planning on the Russian side. There are places of poor morale, and it is affecting their push. Now, right now, we do know up to 9,000 fresh Russian soldiers have rolled in from the south through Rostov-on-Don, through Mariupol, and up into southern Kherson. And August 5th or 6th is the next scheduled or projected push officially from Russian ground forces, especially in the south. They are pushing in the east and have rotated. We're going to look at that in a moment. But secondly, there is another reason slow on the push, and specifically in the east. Russia is literally leveling every city that they take. every village, every town. They are making sure that it is not only destroyed, but uninhabitable. I'm going to show you about something about that in just a moment and up close on that. So I want to take a zone by zone look, and we'll go in a little closer right now, and I will explain it to you and give you the update on today. So we're going to start down here in the south, and I'm going to wrap around, and then I'm going to show you something very interesting. Here we go. So let me change a color pen here. I'm just going to use red because it jumps out. So Odessa today, this is where the first ship was able to leave. Of course, Russia occupies all of this area south of Mykolaiv. Mykolaiv right now is target number one. It is being literally destroyed, much like Kharkiv. You know, we've looked at these places, Mykolaiv and Kharkiv, being on the north, east, and then this Mykolaiv region, and ultimately this will try to be pushed onto Odessa, this level of destruction. But right now, Mykolaiv under immense fire. Now, the other thing we know is this is the bridge. I'll change the color that Ukraine took out. And I want to give you an update on that tonight. We talked about pontoon bridges on the bridge that was taken out, the Antonovsky Bridge. Those pontoon bridges are running. I did just get back into town, and I was not able to get this video translated, but I'll translate it for you. But more importantly, what you're going to see is this is the pontoon system that is in full action. You will see where the news reporter is reporting back to Russia that they're transporting people and transporting goods. But when the cameras aren't rolling, military, it's already proven with Ukrainian intelligence, are running across. And at the same time, they're putting cars and civilians on there. So it will make it very difficult for Ukraine to strike those pontoons. But here we have it. This is a pontoon activity right now under the Antonovsky Bridge.
Аккуратно, чтобы не повредить любимый автомобиль. Водители заезжают на понтон в районе Антоновского моста в Херсоне. Сейчас здесь это кратчайший путь через Днепр. В зависимости от веса автомобиля, один паром за рейс может перевезти от 20 машин. Время в пути примерно 10 минут. Эту переправу российские военные навели в считанные часы, сразу после того, как дорожное полотно Антоновского моста получило повреждения. Российские инженерные войска помогают людям, в том числе с доставкой продуктов. Переправой активно пользуются предприниматели.
Живем в Херсоне, спасибо, перемещаемся. Товар возим как-то хоть так.
I live in Kherson, and I just want to thank everyone for allowing me to transport across to the other side of my products. Are you scared?
На правом берегу все повторяется. Люди, машины ждут очереди, чтобы пересечь реку. В течение дня несколько раз срабатывает система противовоздушной обороны, которая, к счастью, надежно прикрывает переправу. Но меры предосторожности не помешают. В камышах рядом.
I don't know what he's doing there hiding in the bushes, but he's talking about how they have to be careful crossing the Dnieper River because it could be a target for the Ukrainian forces. There you have it. So you can see that the pontoon bridge is working and functioning. And I just want to report to everybody right now that the echo is now gone. I found it. Yes, you couldn't hear it. But when I was on the road traveling in Virginia, I have a laptop over there that encodes this stream. I just take that with me. And I forgot to mute that speaker. And it's coming out of that room over there. Praise God, I found it. I thought I was having a major problem. All right, back to the maps. Now, once again, looking at Mykolaiv, before we go further, I want to give you an inside look into Mykolaiv, little piece BBC put out just a few hours ago, fresh coming to me, and I want to share that to you. This is Mykolaiv. Here's English, ready to go for you.
The end of a punishing night in Mykolaiv. The heaviest bombardment yet for this key frontline city. A few missiles appeared to be hitting deliberate targets, but mostly this was the usual random Russian blitz. cluster bombs and cruise missiles in residential neighborhoods. Mykolaiev's hospitals filling up, the city's defenders standing firm.
I think everybody gets used to the war. We are sad about our victims and injured people, but we are full of will to win and to fight.
And that fight is escalating. Ukraine has begun attacking these strategic bridges to trap Russian forces and pave the way for a counter-offensive towards the Crimean Peninsula. But for now, many civilians in Mykolaiv are still staying put, queuing stoically for drinking water and somehow living with unbearable risk. How do you get used to this? As shocking as these scenes are, the fact is they've become essentially a daily routine here in Mykolaiv. And every night, thousands of people go to sleep wondering whether, this time, the rockets, the missiles, the cluster bombs will hit their building. Last night, 2 rockets landed outside the Yakovenko's apartment. An air raid siren saved their lives, prodding them to move away from the windows. But Olga is struggling. How can we survive this, she wonders. We can't afford to move somewhere safer. Instead, they patch things up and brace themselves for another unpredictable night. Andrew Harding, BBC News in Mykolaiv.
So there you have it. Just that's the reality, and we'll continue going through the map. But I see a couple things in the chats here. Thank you, JDO. That's 500 miles driving today. That is not a pontoon bridge. That's a pontoon floating ferry. And reporter behind the bush as the women are all standing up. That's absolutely spot on. That bridge is screaming for a rocket. That bridge is unusable right now, but if they repair it, it'll be hit again. Ukraine is ready for that one. It's in the bullseye. Now, let's go back to the map. I want to show you here now Kryvyi Rog. Why Kryvyi Rog? Because today there were escapees, people that were able to get out of this Mykolaiv area, and they were going to a place of further safety, and they were on buses being transported by Ukrainians, and that bus was struck. 7 people lost their life today just trying to escape and get to the city of Kryvyi Rog. Now, back in this zone here, Novaya Kakhovka, Ukraine is still hitting good, and Ukraine is trying to hit this road right here, the E105, to stop the transport, as well as this road right here coming out of Crimea. Moving up, Nikopol under constant barrage, constant shelling. So here we have Nikopol and Mykolaiv. They're really trying to take this complete region out. Zaporozhye hit today with shelling. Dnipro hit today. Melitopol, mayor of Melitopol, which is right here, Ivan Fedorov, reported again today that more reinforcements are coming through, of course, coming out of Russia, coming out of, I'll change the color here, they're coming out of Rostov-on-Don and coming through Mariupol, down under Melitopol and up for reinforcements. That is all. That's all in preparation for this August 5th or 6th push that we are expecting. Once again, Donetsk, that is in occupied Russian territory. Ukraine is shelling strategic military targets in Donetsk, and they are hitting them. Ukraine is not shelling civilian targets. Russia is the one that strikes civilian targets. Now, I want to move up to Kharkiv. Kharkiv, constant demolition, as well as Chernihiv continues to be shelled. And we've shared that this zone right here in Belarus is a closed zone. It is full. Missile launchers, shelling equipment, troops, and constantly now Chernihiv is being shelled. Sumy here in the borderline being shelled on the border. It's just very interesting. Little things are happening here up north, but of course, the main deal is in the south. Now, with that said, I want to really zoom in and take a look. Where is it at? It's right here. I really want to zoom into the east because I want to show you something. And part of what I was trying to share is why slow? Why this pace? We talked that Russia is struggling with logistics, that Ukraine is doing a good job hitting, but 100% Russia is practicing scorched earth. I'm going to zoom in here. If you guys have been with me much at all, you know this is the hot zone here, trying to finish out the Donetsk Oblast. This zone here, of course, all Ukrainian occupied, and the red, of course, Russian. Now, with that said, I want to show you a deal here. As we know, let me get back to my pen. This M3 highway is the golden target, but Russia today took officially this town right here, Berestovia. Berestovia is a town of about 5,000 to 7,000 people, but the thing about Berestovia is it is on the road which connects, I need to change the color so I don't confuse you. It's the road that connects Bakhmut, and it runs up, if I was to keep going over, to Lysychansk. It's a very key road, and unfortunately now Russia has taken over Berestovia. They've been shelling it. They've been trying to level it for days. Today, we got some drone footage out of Berestovia. So when we talk about the speed of the Russian movement, yes, a lot is infrastructure and logistical, but make no mistake about it. When you look at these towns along this line, and I will try to erase this, and I'll go back to this joker. So Berestovia is taken, but when you look at towns, Spirne, Ivano-Dorivka, Bilogorivka, I know it's an H, but it sounds like a G, Yakovlivka, Struyavovka, Bakhmutsky, Bakhmut, Pokrovsky, Soledar being one of the most ancient cities, towns in Ukraine. What is going to happen to these cities is they are constantly being shelled. Now, when we call these cities, these towns will have 5,000 to 15,000 people. So if you were watching and you are from a rural town in America or some foreign nation, if your town, 5, 10, 15,000 people, think about that for a moment. These towns are not just being conquered and occupied, but they are being erased. As easy, it's not easy, it's difficult, but as easy as I do that, that is what is happening in these towns. And I've got some drone footage here to show you from Berestovia. Here it is. So there you have it, folks. That is footage I got out of Berestovia today. So yes, there are positives and negatives. David Torres, hello and thank you from Anaheim, California. Welcome to you, my dear friend from Anaheim. Carol, Wasteland, completely heartbreaking to see this colossal devastation. Yes. And as I showed you on the map, it's going to continue town by town. So I know, the world looks at it and we think in pace. We think in just wiping something out, rolling on. And yes, please do not misunderstand. Russia is having logistical issues, but there is purpose to some of their movements. You just saw that, and that is uninhabitable, and they're doing it to every town. When are you leaving for the Ukraine? I am scheduled to be leaving for Helsinki, Finland on the 24th. And then we're looking at a rotation down into Poland on the 29th and into Ukraine on the 29th. So there you have it, folks. That is the update. Now, I did see you guys talking about the bridge. We've got the bridge, the military guys rolling. Yeah, I'm hush on it, Ricochet. Don't worry. I didn't say where. I didn't say where. And I promise you guys, well, I'll do my best. I promise you guys, not to give locations and all that jazz away. But yes, we are going. Thank you for your prayers, Dinah Talton. And with that said, guys, let's get to this one right here. Thank you for continuing to pray for, donate, give, all of the above. We are doing bad idea, Greg. No dates. Okay, here we go. And I know you guys care about me, so I appreciate that. No more dates. No more places. I'm going in the future at some point. I'm practicing now. Yes, Big Z is already being followed. That's no question. Yeah, tell us where you were. That's a good idea. So thank you guys. Much appreciated. You are fully updated. I got my trip done to Virginia. It was fantastic. We got everything accomplished down there. And we're ready to roll. So thank you guys as always. You're fully updated. I will check real quick because I am following one thing. Okay, so nothing new yet on the Taiwan. So we will be watching that. That is going to be the big deal that we need to pay attention to. Covered by the blood. He's going to Taiwan. Hush it. Hush to. Going to Taiwan. All right, guys, we love you. Thank you for your care. And I'm learning all this stuff. But we're going to tell the truth. Be blessed. We'll see you in 23 hours. You have a good night. Peace to you and peace to Ukraine. No, I will not go to Taiwan with Nancy. If I go to Taiwan, I'd rather go by myself. Be blessed, guys. See you tomorrow.